Severus Snape is probably the most tragic hero in the entire Harry Potter universe. He has a shockingly twisted childhood and the perfect makings of a Death Eater. But despite everything he went through, Severus Snape sacrifices himself for Harry Potter. Why? We're breaking it all down today with the origins of Snape. Let's get into it. Hey guys, are you enjoying our content? Please remember to like and subscribe because that's really going to help us out a lot. Now we'll get into the video. On January 6th, 1960, Severus Snape was born to Tobias and Eileen Snape. The family lived in the shabby Spinner's End. He grew up in a squat brick home surrounded by abandoned and dilapidated row houses. The shabby suburb of Cokesworth was a leftover from a long-gone industrial age. Disused factories and broken down street lamps lined the streets. This grim world matched Snape's family life. His mother, Eileen, was a neglectful, pureblood witch. His hot-headed muggle father regularly abused Severus and her. It wasn't long before Severus developed a deep hatred and distrust for muggles. He drew closer to his mother's family and devised a secret nickname that would later become a historic signature and an important clue in Harry Potter's own journey. Of course, we're referring to the Blood Prince. Half-Blood for descending from a muggle and a pureblood, Prince was a reference to his mother's maiden name. As a kid, he was severely neglected. He was unwashed and wore clothes that fit and were so mismatched it looked deliberate. His bickering parents took little interest in him. Most believe it was their lack of care that largely shaped his bitter disposition and cruel behavior later in his life. Somewhat similar to Harry Potter's own journey under the care of Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia. Severus longed for the end of summer when he could finally return to Hogwarts. He suffered greatly throughout his childhood. It wasn't just at home where he endured abuse. At school, he was bullied and disregarded by teachers and students alike. Growing up, Severus saw the magical world as a way to escape his grim and dreary muggle life. Sadly, even at Hogwarts, he was ridiculed by other young witches and wizards. It should also be no surprise that Snape was an awkward child with poor social skills due to his unloving upbringing. There were a few little glimmers of hope for Severus towards the beginning. One was a dessert he enjoyed into his adult years known as holiday blancmange, which he often ate as a child. He also found hope in a young, budding love. There was a girl around his age who lived not far from his childhood home in Spinner's End. Her name was Lily Evans. Snape was reluctant to approach and simply observed her from a distance from time to time. He saw that she had some similar magical abilities as he did. After a while, he finally introduced himself, and the pair quickly bonded. While Lily would only ever see Severus as a friend, he fell deeply in love with her, a feeling that would persist to the very end. His last words to Harry Potter began, "Look at me, and then you have your mother's eyes." In the film version of the scene, Snape's unrequited love for Lily was just one piece of his tragic story. Interestingly enough, during this time, Snape also became acquainted with Lily's older sister, a muggle named Petunia. Of course, Petunia would just join the ranks of other children in the area who bullied and disparaged Snape due to his clothes and impoverished home life. By the time Severus attended Hogwarts, he was regularly entering his childhood years, and things were only slightly improving. The Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry became a refuge for him from his abusive father and neglectful mother. He took every opportunity that he could to improve his station in life. Snape attended the school from 1971 to 1978 and was sorted into Slytherin House, of course. At the time, this house was led by Potions Master Horace Slughorn. Around this time, Snape's hopes of building a romantic relationship with Lily were also dashed. During his first year, he sat on the train with Lily on the way to Hogwarts. That's when she first met her future husband, James Potter, and his friend, Sirius Black. The encounter between Snape and the two boys was hostile. They argued about which Hogwarts house was the best. The altercation would set the tone for the antagonism between the three of them for the rest of Snape's life. Apparently, Snape quickly excelled in the dark arts despite being such a complicated subject for most witches and wizards. From as early as 11 years old, Snape knew more curses and hexes than many of the 7th year students. Of course, Snape would go on to create many spells of his own, some of which he devised during his years at Hogwarts. These included popular ones such as Levicorpus, Liberacorpus, Muffliato, and curses like Langlock, the Toenail Growth Hex, and his signature curse that he invented himself, Sectum Sempra. While Snape had been used to being bullied and outcast by many students, he also fell into a rough crowd of other like-minded Slytherins with similar tough childhoods. Many of his group of students would later become Death Eaters. These included students such as Avery, Mulciber, Bellatrix Black, Rodolphus Lestrange, Evan Rosier, and Wilkes. Not to mention Lucius Malfoy, who was a prefect during his first year and greeted him kindly when he was sorted into the Slytherin house. Most likely, the two had good rapport at Hogwarts, which could also be a reason why Narcissa Malfoy trusted Severus to take care of Draco Malfoy, and why he seemed to favor Draco during his later teaching years, even when Draco refused his help in the task to kill Dumbledore. While Snape was developing as a young wizard at Hogwarts, he also fell into a series of mishaps that would come back in his later years and shape who he was as a person. First off, he was acquainted with a notorious troublemaker, a fifth-year student by the name of Patricia Rakepick, a rival Gryffindor who actively sought to mentor her younger schoolmates in the art of mischief-making without getting caught. Snape could care less about her harmless mischief, but he was wary and distrusted a rumored secret of Rakepick's. Severus soon learned that she was an avid advocate for the existence of the fabled, cursed vaults of Hogwarts. While her claims were dismissed by the faculty of the day, young Snape, however, was not so certain. Seeing her as uncommonly ambitious for a Gryffindor, and he recognized far from stupid, he eventually came to question her motives and her intentions for the vaults, eventually coming to regard her as a danger to the school and all who resided at the castle. As many of you know, Snape's suspicions were correct. Those same vaults would cause trouble many years later. Throughout Snape's school years, he actively fought with the Gryffindor students, particularly James Potter and his gang of friends. In one incident, James bullied Snape by turning him upside down to reveal his underwear in front of many students, including Lily. Lily tried to come to Severus's defense, but this only made things worse. He lashed out at her and inadvertently called Lily a mudblood. Lily refused to forgive him for it, even after his repeated apologies. This would forever be Severus's worst memory. As you may have noticed by now, Severus disliked rule breakers, ironically. He was studious and worked hard, and hated those who disobeyed the rules, preserving the school that was his sanctuary from a rough home life. For example, he noticed that another student, Remus, kept disappearing during the full moon, and once followed him past the Whomping Willow. Fortunately, James Potter ended up saving Severus by stopping him from reaching the Shrieking Shack, where Remus was in his full wolf form. At the time, Albus Dumbledore swore Severus to secrecy, but the true nature of Remus was clear to Severus. That secret would become the bedrock for Severus's alliance with Dumbledore in the future. By their 7th year, James had grown out of his immaturity and arrogance to the point that Lily actually agreed to start dating him, even though he never grew out of his hatred for Severus. According to Sirius, Severus had always been a special case with James. Though it should be noted, Snape's continued friendships with students who were trying to become Death Eaters did not help his relationship with the Marauders or Lily. Lily ended up marrying James, which only strengthened Severus's bitterness towards him. Of course, Snape would end up leaving Hogwarts and join the Death Eaters. He worked as a spy for Voldemort and did a number of things that only helped strengthen Voldemort. But when Voldemort killed his true love, Lily Potter, Snape switched to the other side. He began working as a double agent and provided Dumbledore with information on the enemy. At the same time, Snape worked to protect Harry Potter, the Chosen One, in part because of his love for Lily. He would ultimately save Harry by sacrificing himself in the name of that love. This is why Snape's story is so tragic, but heroic. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Snape's story. And of course, join us again next time for more insights and secrets from the world of Harry Potter. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like to support the channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. I'll catch you in the next one.